Okay, the last time we made a floor made out of concrete. So if I click on this, we made a 10-inch concrete, which we created by editing, duplicating, and we changed the structure to 10-inch concrete. So as I click on level 1, I get to see that floor that we created. And if I go back and measure the distance, if I measured the distance from here, this point where I can see the icon for the point, from this point to that point, the end point, it was 20 feet. And in fact, from this point to that point, 90 degrees was also 10 feet. So we have a floor created. Our floor is made out of, that floor, if I click on the floor, is made out of 10-inch concrete, and it's 10 by 20. And if you recall, if you looked at it in 3D, it looks like this. If you looked at it from east elevation or north elevation, it would look like this. And I'm going to go back to my floor plan. It's right here. I'm going to zoom a little bit closer by scrolling the middle scroller on my mouse. All right, so I'm moving forward. And if I press it, I can move, pan it back and forth. All right. So I'm quite close to it, and I want to make some walls. I would like to make some generic walls, which are 8-inch walls. Let's see. On the tab of architecture, I see walls. I down arrow, and I want to use wall architecture. I click on it, and once again, I go to properties, and it says, oh, it has a generic 8-inch wall. I would like to make it concrete 8-inch wall. If so, I look down here. If so, I'm sorry, it just flew on me. I'm going to go down here, and then I'm going to look for that 8-inch concrete. It has 8-inch masonry, but it doesn't have 8-inch concrete wall. So do you guys remember what we did? We went to Edit. We duplicated. Instead of calling it generic, I'm going to call it concrete. Yeah, concrete. 8-inch wall, and we're good and happy to go, and we say okay. Then we change the structure. It's already 8 inches, so all I want to do is change the material, and you go to here, and remember that concrete is, you just have to search for it, and concrete, I want to do cast in place just like the last time. The appearance, if I render it, looks like this with using this image. I go to the graphics. This has to be checked for my if later on as I want to render it. But in the drawing, on the surface it looks like this. If I cut through it, like slicing through it, it will look like this. I am happy. I go here and I'm ready to draw my wall, and I say okay, and I say okay. So now remember, I've clicked on the architecture and the wall. I identified the type, and remember that green light comes up here. That tab becomes green. That means I'm ready to draw it. I can draw it by line, or I can draw it by a rectangle, arch, and so on. I'm going to use this line. This says pick a line. So I'm going to pick that, and it picks this. And notice what happens. It seems like it's going to the middle. So I picked it all the way around, right, using this one. All right, this is a pick a line. Okay, so I could use an edge of my floor. Let's see what that actually looks like in 3D. In 3D, it looks like this. Watch. If I looked at it in wireframe, you will notice that from here to here is my 8-inch wall. So it looks like it went to the middle of it and drew it. And in fact, when I click on it, I'll notice that it says wall center line. Now, if I pick one of these walls like this, and instead of wall center, I go to the edge. I go to the interior, and it should change it. But it's hard to see it here, so I'm going to go back to level 1 and show it here. See, I made some changes here, and it's having a hard time because the rest of them are not that way. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all of these walls. All right? And I'm going to change this one, erase that one, and I'm picking one at a time because it was easier. So this time, I want to do a wall. I go down, and I keep that 8-inch concrete wall, that's fine. But I want to go to the inside interior. The face is on the inside, okay? So I pick it and I go against this edge. You see that? The face is on the inside. Face is on the inside. Let's look at it in 3D. You see it's completely on the inside. Let's take a look at it in the elevation. You'll see that if I measure, the wall went from here, my floor back out. I could also do it backwards. I could go inward so it sits on the wall. So if I went 3D, I'm going to pick each one of these walls, like this one, and I'm going to change that to face, finish, exterior, okay? So right now it's interior, right? I want to go to exterior, okay? So I would like all of these to change. All right, it's a little hard here because it actually moves the wall for you. So you'd rather not do it that way. Watch this. I'm going to go back down and just simply erase these walls by picking them, deleting them. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to do wall, come back here, and I'm going to do, rather than doing finish exterior, now interior, I'm going to go exterior. Now pick this edge, that edge, that edge. Look, it's going outside. Now if I wanted to undo, I'm going to go interior. I'm going to pick again this one. Now I'm going to sit on top of the wall completely. Alrighty, let's take a look at it east elevation. You can see I'm sitting completely. Here's my floor. These are my walls. Sits right on top of it. So you have control whether your wall sits on the center of the floor, on the outer edge, or inner edge. You could also draw it. I'm going to go back to the floor plan, and I'm going to erase these one at a time. And I'd like you to experiment with me. All right, so I'm going to go wall, wall, and I'm going to draw a wall from here. Notice it goes to the outside. Wait a minute. It's on the inside. Why did it do it that way? Look, depending on whether you're going down or up, it goes to the right. So if I did this way, then it works. All right. You want to be very careful when you have clearly different sides. But when you don't have a different inside and outside, you're okay. But notice when I do this, you see this arrow? When the outside skin of the wall is different than the inside skin and the materials changes, that makes a huge difference. And if you accidentally drew the wall wrong side up, you can actually turn it around this way with this arrow. Or you can move it. Let's assume I did this. Or let's assume I want to move that wall from here to here. So I can easily move it. Now, did you see that? As I moved it, it moved these walls with it. I'm going to move this wall back, move from that corner to this corner. Did you see how it moved everything? Now if I erase this wall, just the wall, copied it from here to here, right? That's my wall. If I erase it, now I can chamfer the wall. Watch how I do it. I want to disregard what's happening with the floor. Let's backtrack. All right, I'm going to erase that wall. And I'm going to draw another wall. Let's go wall. And I'm going to draw this wall from here. Oops, not that way. So I'm going to draw that wall this way. We're good? All right. So just in case, I'm drawing to the outside. Right? You're very clear how you drew it, and it's consistent. You're not sure, take a look at it 3D. It's very clear. It's all on the outside. We're clear. All right. Now, in lieu of the floor plan, I would like to move this wall, and this is move. This is copy. If I want to move the wall from this junction in that direction, let's say 4 feet, I type in 4, I hit enter, moves it 4 feet. Clearly, if I measured the distance from here to here, it's 4 feet. Let's say I wanted to erase this wall, and I'm going to actually change it this way. I'm going to erase this wall or copy this wall from this junction in this direction. Make sure as you're pulling it out, you see the dashed line. If you don't see the dashed line, you're not carrying it horizontally. So 4, I type in feet. So I moved the wall 4 feet. I'm going to erase that wall. Let's assume I had a wall like this, and I want this to join that wall. How do I change it? As soon as you pick a wall, it will say, what do you want to do with it? It says, do you want to edit the profile of the wall? What do you want to attach it to the top? These are actually in the next lesson. But it also allows me to edit the wall here. This is another mode of editing. So I would like this wall to join this wall. I like to actually extend the corner so this one meets that one. See? That one meets that one. So I'm going to undo so you can actually see. So I do this. In AutoCAD we call it chamfer. So this wall and that wall. I'm going to backtrack. I also can do it this way. I can ask it to extend to this line, this piece. I'm going to backtrack, and I want to actually backtrack this one too. I could do 2 of them at the same time. I want to extend to this piece, this one, and that one. So I could do it this way, or I could do it with this or that. All right. Now, I want to move the whole wall, this wall. I would like to, every time you want to get out of function, hit escape twice. Escape twice. So I want to move this wall back, move from this joint to here. When it's actually that wall is joined with that wall, it moves the whole thing so it's nice and clean. It works really well. I've got it this way. So that is how I draw simple walls, and I modify simple walls in plan. I haven't started modifying it in reference to what's happening with the roof or profile it. Until the next lesson.